Peace, family. So we back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you are not harboring feelings. You are not harboring feelings. It's been a while since we went live. It's been a while since we've been up here. It's been a lot of life happening. But what kind of dove me into this subject today was just going through life. It's been a lot of life happening and transitioning. And I had some family members recently communicate and engage with me, and then one of them had made a statement about me harboring feelings. You know, it was more so thrown out there as like a blanket statement, and necessarily saying like, hey, you are the one that's harboring feelings, but more so as a blanket statement. And I had to think about it and actually process. I'm not one of those kind of beings who harbors feelings, who hold on to them and leave them lingering all day and all night. You know, I have my process on how I go about things. I've never been to one to actually sit around and harbor emotions or feelings or sit on them and have them lingering for long periods of time. But when the being made the statement, it was to my pops. And as I processed and analyzed everything that was said, my relationship with my pops throughout life growing up, I realized that I don't harbor feelings. They don't sit there and just bubble up and create some kind of energetic pool that I always feel like I need to go back to and pull energy from, whether I got to use it in, you know, a fight to push, or whether I'm using it to give me momentum to lift me up, you know what I mean? And me being a parent myself as well, it's hard to say that if the shoes was on the opposite foot, would I look at my daughter as being someone who's harboring feelings if I'm the parent and I'm the one who is technically supposed to be in charge and leading and help guide her, and I did a really shitty job. If I did a really shitty job, then there is no such thing as harboring feelings. It's just I have to take some kind of accountability throughout life for a role that I played in my child's life. And when my aunt said this to me, I was just thinking like, yo, my sperm donor, he a grown ass man. Like, if anyone's harboring feelings or feel some certain type of way, it would be on the other side of the spectrum. I've moved on with my life. I've been pushing, moving forward, flowing, doing everything. And I'm just, y'all know I use me as an example. And it's just wild to me that as a man, you have other beings out and speaking for you, opposed from you being in a position to be able to speak for yourself. If I had a son and he had felt some certain type of way about it, and I didn't have his contact information, I would go out my way to get his contact information and reach out and do what I can do to make sure, you know, that I can establish some kind of relationship there, or that I'm making amends for whatever I had done wrong, you know. And that was just like the tip of the iceberg, you know, as far as harboring feelings. As far as that statement being thrown out there, I was like, I've been stopped feeling some certain type of way about my sperm donor. You know what I mean? Like, y'all hear me even over here. I speak more about my mom's because that's the one who was more than my sperm donor. I don't have any feelings to harbor, to put away for him. Like, that was the seed that was used to get me here. I'm here, and now, you know, when they absent for so long, you don't really feel the impact the same way. You know what I mean? And it dove me other places as well too. You know, the sperm donor was just the tip of the iceberg. And I have my BM that I deal with who like to point the finger at me for everything that happens in her life. She lived a whole life before me, and apparently I'm still the one who bad guy in her life, even though I haven't even been present in her life in that manner for like 4 or 5 years. Haven't tried to fight to get back in there, done anything. You know, I do the courts when I want to get things done and established, because we don't have one of those co-parenting situations where it flows between both parents, you know what I mean? Which I know what I signed up for. It's cool, it is what it is. But even towards that one, you know, the first example of my sperm donor, I had to sit down with him a long time ago. After, I want to say I was like in my early mid-20s, I had a whole sit down with my sperm donor, and I had a chance to address him as a man. I only was able to talk to him previously before when I was a child, when I was, you know, 10, 11, 12, early teens, you know. But once I was able to sit down with him as a man, I didn't have any ill intentions towards him. The only thing that really held weight for me was when he decided to open his mouth and played the pity party, the sympathy thing, you know. And it's like, right now at this first meet, we supposed to be establishing like a better connection, not you trying to figure out how to me feel sympathy for your ass not being present, or for whatever you went through in life that I had no idea of because I barely know you. You know what I mean? And once I sat down with him, there was no more intentions because I was able to see how visually how weak my sperm donor was. Now, to the streets, he's a solid man, you know what I mean? Solid, he fight, you know, he be riding for his peoples, you know, he bend backwards for other people and those things. But as a father, I don't have any say-so or no speak or any knowledge to give out there as far as his parenting role because it was absent. So I didn't have anything to harbor there. But when I did sit down with him as a man and was able to address him face to face, man to man, eye to eye, you know, sitting right across from each other, it was a huge release. I appreciate everybody tapping into. I'll get to what's been going on once I get to the end of the subject, you know what I mean? But I see everybody tapping in. I really appreciate all y'all still vibing with me and stuff. And it just had me processing, like, I use my BM as a harboring feelings. There is none there. I have associates that I've engaged with who, you know, we bump heads throughout life. My men that I bump heads with, some of us, you know, men, this is what we do naturally already, okay? We might have to box each other and then we can sit down and play video games or, you know, eat a meal, have, you know, do something together. But usually that's how men like to work our bouts out, you know what I mean? So even if it doesn't go to physical, sometimes it's just the, you know, who can lift the most weights, who can poke their chest out the most. And then once we get established, the relationships are smooth sailing from there, you know? But in order to be in a space to where you are harboring feelings, you have to be consistently processing those beings, those situations, and you're conjuring up that energy and motion. I have time to be sitting around conjuring up old energy and emotion that I've already experienced, dealt with, managed, handled, and moved on past. That's the wrong example of backtracking or using your past to time travel to get better analytics for your life and how you got to the space that you're in right now. When we are in a space of what they call hard feelings, it's really just the fact that I don't forget the experiences I had with you. I don't forget emotions that I experienced when I was with you. I don't, you know, I don't forget the whatever trauma or drama you tried to put in place. I don't forget. If I touch the hot stove, I'm not gonna forget that. I'm not gonna be walking around mad at the stove like, oh, he's harboring feelings for the stove, now he doesn't want to cook on the stove. It's like, that's retarded. It's that I remember and I have to protect myself. There's different levels of protection. It's a lot of different levels of protection, and a lot of people don't really like to understand that. And I only say a lot of people don't because we got a lot of witches and warlords out here, and they like to use that gray area to manipulate, you know? So when I get to that space and I have weird people saying and doing these things, I just laugh it off, either on the inside or laugh it off on the outside, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the way I live my life, I've always moved in the light. My cup has always been half full. I never looked at it half empty, you know? I wasn't one of them people who was born into the big super duper bag, you know what I mean? And I didn't have those kind of worries. Nope, I'm regular like everybody else. I had all regular problems and issues like everyone else, you know what I mean? And we just manage and figure out different ways to master our energy and to overcome certain situations and circumstances, especially when we're younger and we don't have as much control as we would like. Us being grown, you can move around. When you're young, you have to figure out a way to sit in it but not be in a nasty space spiritually or angry and raging 24/7. Most of us already knows how it feels when you are sitting in an angry rage space for a long period of time. Like, it's draining. It is extremely draining. You may have starting your day off with 100% energy. You spend first hour, 2 hours in an angry space. Now you done drained your battery faster than you was originally planning on draining it. You know, now you got to put it back on a charge. You may have other stuff to do. You went from 100% to 60% in a matter of an hour or 2 hours. That's way too fast. Our battery life lasts way longer. Why do you think most of us look and feel so youthful? You know, the outside is just a representation of how we carry ourselves, our belief systems from within. And I know a lot of that be hard for people to comprehend. But when you're dealing with these witchy people, you got to understand these spells are real. You know, words are spells and spells are real. They are. Zoom out, size down, slow down. Oh man, I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. It's been a lot transpiring and going on, which is why, if you notice, it's that my posts have been extremely paced. You know, I've been under a lot of attacks, but I'm not one of them people who sit around and complain about it. You know, I usually put myself in a position to try to do something about it, and it's hard for me to give as much light as I would like to when I'm facing all of these attacks, you know, because if you ever been out in a chaotic space, I used to be out and about. So when I would leave clubs or bars, it didn't matter if it was a group of people that I was with that was in a brawl. If you're anywhere near the brawl, you're subjected to be put in place of the chaos that's happening. You know what I mean? So for me, I was facing a lot of attacks. So at the same time, I didn't want to be sitting out here swording and hitting everybody else that wasn't supposed to be. Like, I was literally trying to be laser beam focused with, you know, defending myself from a lot of these attacks that's been going on. And I say it has been going down. It's a lot of people out here working spells and doing things against a lot of us who are moving in this light. So I'm no exception, you know what I mean? It's just, when I'm putting myself out there, I like to make sure that I don't have as many as attacks going on, you know? So kind of like, all right, last week, let's say I had like 15, 20 attacks that took a amount of my energy. This week it's only down to like 4 or 5. I can process a lot better. I got a couple things more organized in place. Stolen. I did have my camera stolen because my car got stolen. So my car got stolen 2 weeks, I want to say about 2-3 weeks after a demon came down here, slashed all my tires and keyed on the side of my car. And then a few weeks later after that, my car gets stolen while I'm out working, which I can take some accountability for it because I was working, you know, I was just dropping the order off. I jumped out the car. I seen some young dudes beside my car, but I wasn't thinking that they gonna take my car. I'm an 80s baby. I'm thinking people gonna cause harm to me, not steal my vehicle. You know what I mean? They hopped in, they took my vehicle, they took my camera, my wallet, they grabbed a lot of stuff. When I say they got me, they got me. But best believe, like, I'm one of them people that I was out here making rounds, so you gotta know who you getting over on before you do it, you know, because some people will make you pay for doing your things that you do to them, you know what I mean? So like a lot of these guys, in my city, it's been a lot of young guys running around jacking cars, you know, they driving around, taking whatever they can outside and then dropping them off. So they end up getting me in that process, right? But because I'm kind of known around here, and I know the areas out here, I filed the report because I had to file the report. But my brother found the car. I had to get my brother to come pick me up. Me and my brother found the car in less than an hour. I didn't have no trackers or anything on it, but definitely found the car in less than an hour, you know what I mean? It was ransacked, blah, blah, blah. All the usual schmusual stuff, you know what I mean, that you experience when you have kind of stuff going on. And I haven't been walking a weird way of life to be facing these kinds of attacks and things like that, but I always understand, like, when you moving with the creator and source, it's always going to be people looking to take your head off, you know, and there's a lot of demons looking to get one up on the next person, you know, and they got to do it in an unfair and a disadvantaged way instead of them, you know, being straightforward. I'm one of them people, I would much rather you try to bully me out of my stuff than be sneaky with it. They was extremely sneaky, you know, so we will be having a lot more of these short live streams until I get everything replaced. You know what I mean? And the cameras and stuff is not an easy, this can be an easy replacement, but we already know how the financial situation is set up out here. Everything costs an arm and a leg, and all they paying you is a toe or a finger, you know? So I gotta get a lot of toes and a lot of fingers to kind of bounce back and recover. But what's crazy is before they had grabbed the car, grabbed my stuff, right? I was already processing how we have to be in a space of being willing to be able to let things go. That doesn't mean just spiritual situations and engagements you have with other people. That means physical items as well too. You know what I mean? So them getting my car, that was about to fuck with all my finances, because my kitchen that I work at is like 30 minutes from my house. I do deliveries and driving and stuff of that nature too. And then like, my car is required out here in Virginia. I'm not in New York City or the Sears where I could use the metro or something like that. You know what I mean? But the danger exists. Fear is a choice. Stay strong. Big facts, big facts. We always go and fight the fight. You know what I mean? And that's what I understood even with the situation with my car being stolen. You know, it's back now. I told the crew, let me find my car. Because they was right near the interstate. They could have easily hopped on the interstate and, you know, been gone somewhere else. I would have never saw it again. The crazy thing about the universe is, though, me and my brother drove the whole city, got word off at a couple areas, hot zones that I know some people in, let them know, you know, keep an eye out on my car. If you see some young dudes riding in it, it ain't me. Hit my line. We get back to my side of town, in my apartment complex, right? We decided to check here first. It's at the opposite end of where my apartment is at, same complex. Like, the creator of the universe just be looking out so much. And I know a lot of people could be like, oh, well, that's your fault. You know, you leave your keys in the car, blah, 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 bullshit. You know, I don't tell people to be demons or demonic. You know, we all got free will and free choice. The same way we get paid and rewarded for righteously, they're gonna have to pay for, and they will some kind of rewards, but it won't be the kind that's coming from the creator for doing these kinds of things. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like I could have easily moved back around on demon time and went head. The warrior side of me came out a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. When we found the car, we sat on it for like 2 hours. I ain't gonna lie. We sat on it for like 2 hours. Like a little ways away from it, but where we could still see it, because we wanted to see who came to the car, because it was not gonna be a pretty sight. I'm one of them people that, I'm an 80s baby. I grew up in real lifetime, so I'm used to putting in that physical work. I'm not to like reporting to the digital realm and shit and doing all that stuff, you know what I mean? So, but if that was the case, even if it's the case now, I can run that concurrent with the subject that I'm speaking on. I could be harboring feelings and emotions towards that situation, but I'm not. As a man, it's like, if the universe set the situation up for me to run into that car that I seen sitting out there, because it was 2 people sitting in the car, you know, and I heard my shit squilling off too, and it was like, I stayed ready all the time, but they was really fucking fast. They was really fast. It took them about 15 seconds. That's all it took. I literally got out of the car, opened the door, sat the food down, skirt. I went running back out. If I would have saw my car, it probably would have had holes all in it. That's all I say. But the universe knows, you know, and the creator knows how much we have been fighting this fight, you know, and how much we have taken the more righteous avenues, you know. If I wasn't moving in the light, or if I was harboring all these emotions and feelings, I wouldn't have found my car faster than the police. I wouldn't have. You know, they put the APB on it and blah, 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 all that weird shit they do. You know, I don't give a damn about the police. You just have to file the reports to cover your own back end, kind of like insurance. You know what I mean? But if I was harboring feelings and emotion, the creator wouldn't allow me to find that car. You know, it wouldn't have been parked in my neighborhood all the way on the other side, even though they took it from across town. They took my car from across town, which is like 15, 20 minutes away, and it ended up in my neighborhood. It is like, the old me would have been like, what a coincidence. But the version that I am today, I already understand, like, we are protected to a degree. So even though they feel as though they getting away with it, or they got a couple items and shit like that, like, all that's replaceable. Their life is not replaceable though. That's why you gotta be mindful about who playing with and who you engaging with, because you don't know how anybody get down out here. You don't know who willing to go to what lengths for what. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're not gonna get angry or get stuck, you know? The old me would have been harboring more feelings and would have been chasing them around and doing this thing a little bit more, because I'm like, oh, don't nobody get over on me and blah, blah, blah. Now the me that's moving more in awareness with the creator understands, like, if the universe want me to take care of that situation, it'll present itself. I will take care of it. It's that simple, you know? I don't run, I don't duck any wreck, you know. That's why they had to do it sneakily. It wasn't like I got blown out of my car and then my camera went missing, you know what I mean? They snuck in, they snuck out, and they kept it moving, you know what I mean? When I found the car though, I did take the battery out the car because they had my keys, and they still got my keys, you know what I mean? But you know the keys, you can reprogram the keys, you know. This old man, that is old man thinking crazy. Nah, you old, we can call it alive, we can call it wise, you know. It don't really bother me when people like to use the terminology old, because we're alive. I got a lot of buddies who ain't to live a quarter of my life, you know what I mean? They got alive, they moved on to their next journey. And I have some people who unalived themselves and moved on to their next journey, you know what I mean? So being old, we need to substitute that with being alive. I get tired of people saying, oh, you old, or he's an old head. It's like they alive. And especially you have to give them more grace when they've been moving with source and creator, because you can only imagine how many obstacles they've been facing, how many times people just been attacking them just for opening their eyes, waking up and getting out the bed. We face these all day long, you know, with no breaks. When you take a break, I know in my life, what I don't get done, won't done. So there isn't a whole lot of room to be taking breaks and lollygagging and lingering and doing all this other stuff, you know what I mean? It's dope if the younger generation got onto this too and could understand how important it is to move with source, you know what I mean? Because I'm not intertwined in the street life no more, but signs and symptoms of that demonic activity finds its way to me. It finds its way to me. Before people was physically doing those things to me, I was under a lot of digital attacks. You know what I mean? I can say and assume that a lot of you were too, that's moving with the creator and source. Y'all know I just use me as an example. But this has been the longest time I went. I had went like 12 days without posting. My posts have been broken up to 4 or 5 days, just trying to get everything figured out and organized. And as you could see, this is genuine right here. I don't have to fake the funk. Like, if I was harboring some feelings, I wouldn't even be up here until that case was closed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't even be, and then I wouldn't even be discussing it, because I know too much stuff can be incriminating. You know, I know how to move behind the scenes and I know how to move in front of the scenes. So, you know, keeping these things in mind, that we don't harbor feelings. We just are aware of what people done to us, and we're not gonna allow certain things to happen to us again. You know, I don't harbor feelings about them taking my car and my camera nuts that went missing out of my car. But I am a lot more, I've been aware, but it's more so like, I'm not gonna give people the opportunity to risk to do these kinds of attacks on me anymore. You know what I mean? I was the same way when I was younger. It was until somebody, I'd be aware of things, but I'd be like, I dare somebody to, until somebody tried me, I'm gonna keep moving how I move, and then that's when I usually make the adjustments, because I need to see how protected I am. I don't know how protected I am until I put myself in situations. Not saying I just said, hey, I'm gonna leave the car here for them to take it and do what they do, but no, I felt the energy when I pulled up. For one, I usually pull more in the front. This time I pulled parking space beside. It was already another car there with 2 brown people in there. Yes, I'm being judgmental. If niggas is out at nighttime, be fucking cautious. It's that simple. I was cautious, right? I put my best friend in my pocket. So I'm like, all right, they try me. You know, I know how to fight, and I got some extra help with me. You know what I mean? So it was like, oh, okay, this narration. They not trying to get you. They're trying to get your possessions. They want your possessions. So I did not allow that to spiritually rev me up or to put me in some downward sunken space. You know what I mean? That was like my means to a lot of my work and things that I do. And I easily got angry, frustrated, raged on the police, drove around the city, just being reckless and shooting up everything that I really wanted to, because I felt like it was closer. The car that I thought I saw, I could easily try to chase every car down that I thought was down. For what? For what? When you just spiritually protected, for one, the car wouldn't have been found by me and my brother as fast as it was, you know. Filed the report, drove around a little bit, found it on this side of town within an hour 30 minutes. They had already tried to use one of my cards, but they used the wrong card. You know, they try to use my Venmo card. I don't keep anything on my Venmo card. Venmo card is third party for transactions. You know what I mean? If they would have used one of my other cards, cha-ching, they probably would have got a little bit of change. They probably would have got that tacos. They stopped by a taco truck because I got the receipt for it. They spent $18.55, tried to, you know. None of this would have been a thing. You know what I mean? But I just say all that to say, like, we don't harbor feelings and emotions. We just keep ourselves extremely aware, and we protect ourselves by any means necessary. You know what I mean? But I didn't want to run it up too long. I will be doing more live streams like this. You know, they're not going to be 4 hour longs, but because my camera is missing, the creator was like, you know what? You still have your phone. You could live stream. I'm like, shit, you right. You right, Source. You did help me find the vehicle. You did put it right there for me. It wasn't scratched or damaged or anything. They actually reverse parked it real nice, like they was coming back to. And to be honest, they did come back to the car the next day, but I took the battery out, so they couldn't drive it. So I found my cables that's usually in the trunk of my car. They in my driver's seat, just thrown up there. And I was like, y'all got that one. Y'all got that one. You know, I won't put too much up on the internet because, you know, some people have destinations that's coming to them a lot sooner than later. So you just got to be mindful, you know. I focus on the NASDAQ futures, micro contracts, just one right now. Nice and slow, one good trade in New York morning session, AM. Okay. How would you describe overstand versus the inner stand? I like everything from inner, you know. Over is cool. I like over, but I like the inner stand because everything starts from within first. Even you writing that message started from within before you presented it outwardly to me, you know. So, but overstanding, I like using overstanding when we have to deal with extremely low vibrating people, you know, extremely low. When I say low, I mean low, like lower than slow. That's when I use overstanding, because sometimes I be trying to be, you know how they do electroshock therapy? I kind of do that spiritually, you know. So I be trying to hit people to get them to wake the fuck up. If they gonna stay asleep, then you just get your ass whooped while you sleep. But I try to wake people up, you know. And then I try to see how far in depth people are into that demonology. If you want to make some music, we could make some. Yeah, we can link up, man. I'm always down to collab. Yup, VA. Yup, I see you, Boo Bear. We out here. VA. You already know. You want to do some music? Hit me on Instagram DMs. You know, my Gmail. I use it, I don't use it, respond. I'm kind of like 40-60, like 60%. I'm like, nah, 40%. I'm like, I got time. Instagram, I'm more fluent and consistent in Instagram. Okay, grew up in Nova, Northern Virginia. I'm in Central Virginia, so if you grew up in Nova, you already know anything past Northern Virginia does not count as the D. You was actually in the real DMV area. Where I'm at, I'm not in DMV. I'm in Virginia, but I'm not in the DMV area. DMV area starts in Nova, Arlington, that whole Alexandria, that whole section right there that's on that borderline. I'm not one of them people that's like, oh yeah, I'm DMV. I don't give a damn. You know, I move with the creator. I'm in Virginia now. 10 years from now, I might be in a whole nother part of, you know what I mean? Woodbridge, all of that too. You know, all of that's that's the real DMV. Salute to the real DMV. I'm Central Virginia. This is like, I'm in Charlottesville where, you know, they had the KKK rallies at Miss Thomas Jefferson, old stomping ground area. So this town is extremely slow and late on a lot of things that's happening in the world right now. Try to surpass possessions and money. It will help a lot if you don't think about creating money as far as you can. Yeah, big facts. I would be a lot more pissed off and frustrated right now if I was solely focused on possessions and a dollar bill. When the car shit was happening, I had other financial stuff going on. You know what I mean? And I was in like, they was really pushing me into a corner. Like I was really backed into a corner spiritually. Talking about like one entity pushing me into a corner. I'm talking about like a collective. You know, some low levels pushing me into a corner. We got high levels pushing me into a corner. You know, I got people who are just unaware, helping these other people push me into a fucking corner to where I just isolated from everything, everybody. I wasn't posting on none of my stories, you know what I mean? I was trying to fight this battle as best way as I can, you know what I mean? They couldn't take me out and I'm still here standing solid, so it is what it is, you know what I mean? It's a lot more battles to come. I'm not even tripping over that one. I'm just trying to make sure I can charge up, get my energy right, clean my weapons off, get those nice, you know, shine up again, make sure they working smoothly, and get ready for the next battle that come my way, because it's not gonna stop, you know what I mean? And yeah, most of us moving in this light are the real chosen ones. That's why we have to fight extremely hard. That's why we got so many weird battles. I know a lot of people say or find things in our walk of life that'll be like, oh well, that's your fault. You could have did this differently. That's your fault. You could have did. I don't intentionally try to walk around and assume everybody's a demon. That's not what happens. You know, I move around in the God light, and then I assume that, okay, the Creator is, you know, projecting godly beings around me, but then when I start talking and I start seeing people actions and movements, or I just start reading vibrations, hell nah, they not on my team. They are not on my team. I am not on their team whatsoever. You know what I mean? Whatever needs to get done, do it now. Yeah, facts. We not gonna wait. We not no waiting. The battle is the Lord. I ain't gonna say the battle is the Lord. That's weird. I'm battling. I don't believe, you know, I don't follow Christianity, but I'm battling with the Lord. The Lord isn't the battle. That's the thing you're supposed to be riding on and riding for. So you don't want to say that you're battling with your team. You want to say, or battling with your team. You want to say, I'm battling with my team. I'm battling for my team. You know what I mean? Most of us here already understand what team we on. So it shouldn't get but so much confusion and fogginess in between there. It's hard when your own family doesn't understand. No, your family understands. They choose to be in that weird ass space. I ain't gonna lie. Most of our family know they choose to be in that weird ass space. They choose to still treat us as though we're the same people that we was when we was 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. Like, bitch, I ain't the same. I'm me. But I've grown way more than what I was. And a lot of my family members is surprised that I'm in the space that I'm in, that I took the avenue that I took, that I stand as solid as I stand, no matter what kind of obstacles coming this way. I'm a warrior at heart, so I'm always gonna fight. I don't give a damn what kind of stuff they put in place, the creator, if that vibration isn't moving with creator and source, you are opposition to me. I'm not gonna sit there and dance around in the middle. I can't do that. Yeah. Hey, the same way God is calling, he ain't got to call because I already answered. He ain't got to call because I already answered. It was a lot of weird, wild stuff that's been happening and transpired. And I stood solid moving with source. I stood solid moving with source. The same way I used to stand solid with my bros when I was younger and would go out to bars or clubs or house parties and stuff, and I was staying solid with them. That's exactly how I've been standing with source and the creator. And I dare somebody to do otherwise. You know what I mean? I ain't playing none of that. I ain't playing none of that. Man, not smart, just knowledgeable, and then willing to put the time and effort in and the patience and to practice moving and fighting with source. We already know we outnumbered, so it should not surprise me or surprise anybody else that your family members beating on you, you got siblings beating on you, you got the job beating on you, you got the government beating on you. It shouldn't be no surprise at all when these things start to whoop your ass at one time. It shouldn't be a surprise. You should just focus. If you ever been in fights, I've been in so many fights, it's hard to count, but I've been in situations where I've been outnumbered. When I've been in situations where I've been outnumbered and I've been physically fighting, I focus more on one person. And then I put like this strong protection shield up because I know the other beings is gonna be hitting me, but I know this one person gonna get their ass whooped first. And then soon as I get him where I need him at, then I can turn my energy, start whooping the other person's ass. It's that simple. You know, you cannot punch everybody at one time. You know what I mean? You have to focus in, focus your laser beam. Boom. All right. That's the one that probably hit me the hardest out of these three that's jumping me. I gotta get him first. The other two are trying to hit me and stuff, but they aren't as strong. So I gotta take on the strongest one first, and then I can get around to the other ones. You know what I mean? I mean, chatty patty, keyboard, Jackie chat style. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. That's how you gotta do it out here. We're always gonna be outnumbered. So, but I ain't warming it up too long. This will be the formula I will be using until I get everything replaced. We'll see how soon the creator sets it up for me to be able to get that replaced. I think right now the creator is just wanted me to sit down and make sure that I can still give this word honestly and wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? Even with my camera, microphone, all that stuff I invested in. I put thousands of dollars into that stuff. You know what I mean? Just to be gone like that. So. But I wasn't going with it, and I'm going to die without it, so it stung a little bit at the time. But bee stings, you get about 30, 40 minutes, you good to go now. You ain't even paying attention to that sting no more. You know what I mean? It's always going to be another avenue and another method for us to, you know what I mean? Especially when you move into the light. It's hard to sit down there in those spaces because you have to keep moving. You already know what time it is when you stop. Yeah, we're not going to be negative. We do have negative emotions and things that we feel. We don't sit in that space. We don't harbor negative emotions. We just keep our alerts on the on those negative vibrations and that unwelcoming energy that people present to us, or that we actually had to encounter being in certain locations. Certain locations will make us process and be like, oh, okay, I know anytime I leave the house, oh man, every time I gotta go to this location, I gotta turn my alerts all the way up. I gotta make sure I don't have any extra accessories on my person. I gotta make sure my doors is locked over here. I make sure if I go to certain places, I make sure I'm tucked away. It's just different things that you have to do to keep yourself protected. You know what I mean? Don't ever put your guard down because people are good with their words. You know what I mean? Yeah, we are live today, Pat. We're gonna be doing a lot more lives because the camera is gone. So until I get that substituted and replaced back, this is how we're gonna be communicating, engaging until then. You know what I mean? Hey, whoever is the king, just make sure you fighting with your king. You know what I mean? Because your king he's brothers to another king on another part of the world. Your king is brothers or cousins, another king on another part of the world. So even if Jesus is your king, Allah may be somebody else's king, but they are still family members. We still all fighting this battle together. We all still fighting this battle together. You know what I mean? I'm fighting for everybody that ain't with Source and the Creator. If you rolling with the opposition, best believe I got all the smoke in the world for you. That's on everything I love. I got all the smoke in the world for you. But I ain't gonna run up too long, y'all. I appreciate all the love and support. We are gonna get back to this more consistent. It's just hard sometimes when the attacks is like non-stop. Bang, 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 bang. No days off, no breaks. They was wearing my ass down. I ain't even gonna lie. I was over here like, let me get a second. Let me get I was like, let me get a second. They said, hell no, no second. I was like, cool. I got my ass up, start going again. It's like when you're in high school and they making the mile, you really don't want to run it because it really don't mean anything to you. But for the ones who just like to push ourselves, we still pushed ourselves to beat our time that we got before. And you get into your third, fourth lap, right before you finish, you out of breath. You ain't got no more legs left. You ain't got no more strength left, but you still pushing through. That's what was going on just now, you know. And I wouldn't be in this space right now if they had been winning them battles. Trust me, they would have done a great job at making sure I was non-existent anymore. And I'm not just talking about car situation, I'm talking about all the attacks that was happening, transpiring. I've been pretty consistent in this space since I started putting myself out here and sharing this knowledge and information. You know what I mean? So you can go back and check my track record. I've been pretty fucking consistent. I haven't not been this consistent unless YouTube had put me in jail for talking about the that stuff. I mean, they put me on a 1 week jail strike, but I done been in all the jails. I done been in real jail, TikTok jail, YouTube jail, Facebook deleted me. You know what I mean? Like, look, it's only but so much you could do, you know, before the last thing you could do is say, you know, I'm gonna send them on to his next journey. Cool, we all gotta go anyway. So that's another thing. I ain't tripping over that shit. You know what I mean? Oh Lord, yeah, Broward and Miami. Sheesh. Oh yeah. Them things I heard was like prisons. They ain't even like jails. But you take that formula and you put it out here in what we are sitting in right now today. Take that formula of the physical prison system. This is what the fuck we in right now. The same way it costs an arm and a leg for commissary, it costs an arm and a leg for food out here. It costs an arm and a leg for rent out here. You know what I mean? Everything is way more expensive than what you actually have the means for. And that's not even including battles that you got going on right now. You know what I mean? But I appreciate everybody tapping in. You know what I mean? We will be doing this more consistently. It's going to be more live streams where we all can engage like this. I guess the universe, you know what, the tribe missed you. You're going to have to start engaging with them more anyway. So how about we just get rid of these pre-recorded videos and you can sit down and chop it up this way more often, you know. This one was just a filler in, you know, let y'all know we don't be harboring feelings. And then I had to update y'all on what the hell has been going on with me. Because everybody that's been tapped in with me for at least those 2 years or a little bit longer noticed that I've been pretty fucking consistent. So clearly there was something going on behind the scenes that I had to get organized, you know what I mean? Feel our emotions and let them be and pass by. You're right. Always analyze and acknowledge your emotions that you're experiencing because you receive a lot of information from your emotions. You receive a lot of information, you know what I mean? But I got some more work to do. I got to get up out of here. I had it down here for y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I don't even understand how much I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean? And clearly I don't do this for the bag because I would be doing some other thing if it was about chasing the bag down. You know what I mean? But I wasn't going to run up too much more longer. I don't have anything in the description, so I ain't even going to say everything down below no more, you know. We just going to see y'all on the next bout, you know what I mean? Peace and love to the kings and queens.